race, one to win now.
A first final for Rangers. In the other semi-final shootout, Basel's Max Wissel couldn't hold off a dominant drive from Midtjylland's Kasper Andersen, providing us with a Midtjylland's Rangers final. Andersen was so fired up, he didn't even pull into his garage, giving his team a workout before they'd even started. Once underway, though, both drivers pushed each other to the limit, and sometimes beyond.
Oh, Midtjylland is ahead. Chicane was so-so.
Oh, John Martin locks up at the chicane, so they both make little errors.
Less than a tenth of a second separated them.
It's Midtjylland have done it! Just Midtjylland have done it! They've taken pole position here at Zolder, beating Rangers in the final.
Well done, guys!
And that was the story of yesterday and how Midtjylland managed to take pole position, their first ever pole position. They are a team new to Super League Formula in 2009. And Kasper Andersen, well, he's in his second season. He raced for Olympiacos last year. John Martin doing a great job to be on the front row for Rangers. Then on the second row, we've got Basel and Max Wissel and Adrian Valiers, the series leader, with Liverpool starting in fourth position. FC Porto, Tristan Gomedy lines up fifth. Tottenham Hotspur, Spurs are sixth with Craig Dolby. And AL-AIN going well with new driver Esteban Guerrieri, starting his first ever Super League race today. Pedro Petiz for Sporting Lisbon starts in 8th place. 9th, the local team, Anderlecht with Jelmer Berman. And then it's the first of the Brazilian clubs, Corinthians, with Antonio Pizzonia starting in 10th. Galatasaray, Duncan Tappi, he starts 11th. AC Milan, disappointing winner last time out, but only 12th on the grid. Atletico de Madrid, Ho Pin Tung starts 13th. Lyon, as we saw, starting in 14th place. Olympiacos, David Rigon, the reigning champion when he was driving for Beijing, but he's down in 15th. Then Flamengo, Enrique Benaldi, 16th. AS Roma, Jonathan Kennard, the team made a mistake in qualifying, so he ended up 17th. And PSV Eindhoven, well, the driver made a mistake. Dominic Muurmans put it in the wall in qualifying, so he starts right down at the back. Here we are looking at the man who was on pole position last time, Bruce, but he only qualified in 10th this time, Antonio Pizzonia for Corinthians.
Yes, apparently the car didn't suit the track as well as Magny-Cours. Magny-Cours is a high-speed circuit. Here it's tight corners, so they will be looking at trying to turn that over and have a better race.
So there's Anderlecht, as we know, lining up, and then Sporting Lisbon. That is Pedro Petiz, the man who's usually got a roof over his head, but he's now getting used to single-seater racing once again. And as we go further up the grid, you can see there's AL-AIN. Impressive performance from the new driver, the Argentinian Esteban Guerrieri. He was quite a surprise, really, to make it through that far. But as we go further up the grid, what about Craig Dolby?
Craig Dolby is a fantastic racer. He's going to do well, always coming back up the field. So we're expecting a good race from him again.
Yeah, he's confident. He loves this Zolder circuit. Alongside him on the grid is Tristan Gomedy, the Frenchman, driving for FC Porto. As we saw from the qualifying report, he made a mistake in the head-to-head battles, and that meant that he didn't make it through to the next stage. Meanwhile, Liverpool, it's a bit surprising that he's in 4th place.
Yes, logically he should have been a bit higher up, but hey, you can't be at the top all the time, and he's going to try to make up for the race.
FC Basel next up. That's Max Wissel, had a great 3rd place at Magny-Cours and was one of the surprises of qualifying, but actually had some good results here last year as well. And as we come up towards the front row of the grid, the tyre blankets are coming off the pole-sitting car, that of Kasper Andersen. It's a Danish driver driving for a Danish football team, but alongside, in 2nd place on the grid, the Australian John Martin for Rangers. And John looking for his first podium. It's only the 2nd ever event he's done in Super League Formula. We do hear that Galatasaray are starting, there we are, from the pit lane. So there must have been some sort of problem with the car. Hopefully they've got that sorted out. But whereas Duncan Tappi for Galatasaray should have been on the 6th row, he's now starting from the back. The grid is beginning to clear. The track looks in pretty good shape. You can see a little dampness just on the side of the track, can't you?
Yes, exactly. For Midtjylland, it's going to be a little bit hard because he's starting from the inside of the track, and that's where it's wet. But I can tell you, I saw a Midtjylland car, he's running new tires, and Rangers isn't. So they're going for the win. They're going to try to fight for the win, and if he's leading after the first corner, he'll probably pull away.
That's interesting. New tyres. So how they manage their tyres over the course of the weekend is important. Remember, they will be going into a pit stop at some point in this race. It has to be after 8 laps are completed, but before 20 laps are completed. And it's a 44-minute race plus a lap. So it's a reasonable length. It's 2 halves. We've got 2 races of around 45 minutes each. So the football part of this equation is an important part of the timing of each race. There you can see that front row then. They're being led round by FC Midtjylland with that great little fan base that's turned up here this weekend. And this shows us the circuit, Bruce. They're coming through the first chicane, and now they're going into the trees, where perhaps the track might take longer to dry out.
Yes, as I said, it's going to be tricky. We could see a little bit of sand in some places on the track, and you can see that the side of the track is still wet, and you really have to be careful. You really have to try to stay on the dry line. But when you want to make a move and you want to try to overtake the car in front of you, you have to come out of this dry line, and that's where it's going to get complicated.
Each car represents one football club, all the teams using identical cars and technologies. It's exciting, it's new, it's only the second season of Super League Formula, and the drivers really getting to grips with these 750 brake horsepower machines. They are big, powerful cars. They've got boost as well to use in the race, up to 8 shots of boost available during the race, so that will help overtaking, and how you use that boost could turn out to be crucial. Now, the cars are beginning to line up. There's still one more chicane to drive through before they get to the start of this race, the Jackie X chicane. But as they come down this straight, you can see them now just getting some wheel spin, trying to build up the tyre temperature. On board with Liverpool briefly, Adrian Valliers, winner here last year, and then the man who's leading the championship with Liverpool Football Club at the moment on top. There's Craig Dolby for Spurs in the blue and white colours with a yellow strip, coming around for the start of the first race of the day here at Zolder. The front row beginning to go, and Michelin making a break already, and BASEL going to go for second place. Max Vissel down the inside for second place, going with Rangers, who's going around the outside, John Martin, and Liverpool trying to cut through, but can't quite make it. Now Liverpool goes to the inside, off in the background though, Atletico de Madrid, Corinthians, and I think AC Milan, and also Sporting Lisbon. So a number of cars out on the first corner.
Yes, I think there's going to be a safety car because there is some damage. I could see a front wing standing in the middle of the track, and AC Milan had a spin as well. He had a good start. Corinthians, Madrid, Pedro Petit as well is there. Terrible start. It's a very narrow corner to go through, all those big cars to go through on the first lap. It's very, very hard. As you can see, it's very hard to overtake. The cars are locking wheels when they're on the inside, and we're on board now with FC Basel. And you can see there is only a small dry line, and it's completely wet on both sides of the car.
Yeah, so they've got to be really careful not to step off that line. Up front, it's Michelin from pole position. It was a good start by Kasper Andersen. Let's take another look at this and try and find where it all went wrong. Oh, there was a touch on Spurs.
Yeah. Pedro Petit bumped into a Craig Dolby, and it sent both of them into a spin, and as he went back in the middle of the track, he just took 3 cars with him.
So, in fact, Tottenham got away with it. There's the green and white car
exactly, yeah.
spinning in the middle of the pack, and there's just nowhere to go. And, in fact, some of the guys at the back did very well to avoid that.
Yes, and they got a few places from that, but it's a bit unfortunate. It all came from the Sporting Lisbon car just bumping into Craig Dolby and spinning.
Well, as you predicted, the safety car is on circuit. No great surprise there, with lots of cars to be cleared away down at turn 1. So as they cross the line, the order is Michelin leading, Rangers in second place, Liverpool in third, Basel in fourth, then AL-AIN in 5th place. Tottenham still there despite that little bit of contact on the first corner. Craig Dolby, driving for Tottenham, has got away with it. He's running 6th. FC Porto, the blue and white colours of FC Porto, are 7th. Anderlecht, the local club, the purple and silver colours, they're running in 8th place.
Here's the summer assignment. Set up camp, defend at all costs, attack, shoot and score. Tough, talented teams step up for the challenge. UEFA Under-19s Championship, Tuesday live on Eurosport 2.
First race of the day underway here at Zolder. We're under safety car conditions with Michelin leading from Rangers in second place, but a first corner accident, I'm afraid, has taken out several cars. AC Milan, Sporting Lisbon, we've lost from it as well. We saw Corinthians out too, so a group of cars that are not going to make the rest of this first race. Remember though, on the rules of Super League Formula, if you are the first to go out of the first race, it means you're going to end up on front for the second race of the day. I don't quite know how they work out which of the 4 cars will end up on pole position of the 4 that are out in this one, and it does depend, of course, on being able to repair the car.
Yes, first you have to repair the car, but then I think it will probably be their starting position from the grid, because that's how they cross the line, so we'll see. It will be interesting.
Yes, so the furthest back on the starting grid for this first race, who's crashed out in that first crash, will end up on pole position for race 2 today. That is part of the really exciting part of the rules in Super League Formula that are different to other forms of motorsport. And there you see, just coming past this stricken cars that are up on the outside there. They're now being lifted out of the way. On board with Max Wissel, very impressive from the youngest driver in this grid. In fact, he's only 19 years old, and a superb qualifying performance from him yesterday, which sees him now sitting in 4th place under safety car conditions as drivers begin to make a fairly short walk back, I have to say. At least they haven't got far to go to get back to the pit lane from there.
No, first corner, indeed, as the first car is being moved away, and probably the second very soon. So we'll probably have another 2 laps under the safety car, some time for the track to dry a little bit, which is good for the drivers. And they have to make sure they keep the tire up to temperature. That's why you see the cars moving from one side to the other on the circuit.
So a nice situation this for Michelin's Kasper Andersen, who is leading, but of course it doesn't give him the chance to make a break, which he would have looked to have done. He certainly had got away by about 3 or 4 car lengths over Rangers' John Martin. So Martin will now be pumped up, I'm sure, for the restart, won't he? And you said that there were new tyres on the Michelin car. I suppose that advantage, in a way, has disappeared because they've now done a few laps on them.
Yes, well, the good thing is that the safety car is lapping pretty slowly, so you still manage to keep the tyres, and I think he will still have an advantage.
So we'll see what happens on the restart, and whether Michelin's going to be able to hold on to that advantage over Rangers. We've got Liverpool up there. Liverpool points leaders at the moment after doing so well last time out at Manicourt. Adrian Valles, who won here in the wet last year as well, one of the 2 races. He's sitting pretty proud in 3rd place. The rest of the queue coming through. Lyon running 9th. We've got Flamengo running in 10th place, the only Brazilian club, now that we've lost Corinthians from this race. Olympiacos running 11th. We've got AS Roma 12th, and that was a pretty good first lap for AS Roma because Jonathan Kennard started towards the back. Safety car still leads the field around as race leader is FC Midtjylland, Kasper Andersen, but we haven't even had one complete racing lap so far after the incident that occurred at the first corner. Ho Pin Tung, one of the drivers involved in that incident, just saying, well, there wasn't anywhere I could go, and team could sort of seen that on the TV screen. There's no blame there attached at all, I'm sure.
No, and I think he's telling them which part of the car has been damaged to make sure they get the pieces ready to fit on the car, and to make sure they will be participating to the second race. One thing interesting as well, AC Milan spun, but he's back on track, and apparently the car is running well. There is no damage, so he's gonna be able to race.
That's good news. So Giorgio Pantano, yes, who was involved in that. We saw him spinning, but the car seems to be okay, so he's still in the mix. And look where they're putting the cars. They're just basically lifting them over the barrier, out of the way, so that we can go racing again. That's good stuff, because it's not going to waste too much time. The clock is still ticking away in the top left-hand corner of your screen. The 44 minutes and then a lap of this race distance. 3 laps being completed. Here's another look at what happened at the start. Bit of a contact between Sporting Lisbon and Tottenham. Lisbon then spun across in front of everybody else. Take another look at it here. Spinning through across, taking out Corinthians. And then AC Milan spinning in sympathy and taking out Atletico de Madrid, and Lisbon ended up on the inside. Let's watch the onboard. This will be interesting from FC Porto.
Yeah, Pedro Petit braking too late. That's what happened. And he spun. We can't see him spinning again, but he spun back and took up 3 cars with him.
In fact, Tottenham's car, actually, he got hit from behind by Pedro Petit, but he then touched somebody else as a result of that. There was smoke from his front tyre as well. So I hope the car's not damaged. Well, we gather that that incident has been fully cleared away, and the lights are off on the safety car, so we'll be going racing when they come back past us once again and weaving around to get some tyre temperature. Michelin's Kasper Andersen, the Danish driver, looking to try and take a first ever win for this Danish club. They're new to Super League Formula, a relatively young football club as well, formed in 1999. Can they go on to win their first Super League race? Well, we go racing once again as the safety car comes in, and Kasper Andersen gets away very well on the restart. Rangers chasing. John Martin, the Australian driver for Rangers, going after him. Then it's Liverpool in 3rd place, Basel in 4th place, and the rest of them filing through this first corner. And this time, one by one, they get through the first corner safely. And now we see if anybody's going to make some progress. At the back of the group, Galatasaray, who had to start from the pit lane, remember. So that is the last car on track. But there are some opportunities now that we've lost cars. And Anderlecht trying to make a move and actually getting past Porto. So that's a change of position. That's taken them into 7th place.
Very good move, and a move where it's very difficult to overtake, but he managed. Probably Porto having few problems in turn 2, like yesterday. We saw him understeering and going off the track as Galatasaray Duncan Tapi made a move on PSV Eindhoven Dominic Mermans, locked the wheels but managed to overtake.
Absolutely. In fact, Anderlecht's up to 5th because Tottenham dropped back a little bit there. So that's AL-AIN, sorry. So AL-AIN in 5th, Tottenham in 6th, so that's right. Anderlecht next up. We're on board with 2nd place man Rangers. This is John Martin, the Australian racer. Well, I'm sure he got a buzz from seeing Mark Webber win the Grand Prix last weekend, and as an Australian in international motorsport, he'd love to try and back that up, but to do so, he's going to have to find a way past Kasper Andersen, and Andersen's been fast all weekend. Liverpool 3rd, Basel in 4th, then AL-AIN, and then Anderlecht coming through in 7th, Porto coming through there as well, and Lyon just trying to spot, as they come across the line. Anderlecht just trying to close that gap up a little bit on Tottenham, but not quite close enough, and there was a bit of a move going on in the background. We'll try and check that as they come through the first turn. Don't know if there was any change there. Flamengo and Olympiacos are racing pretty hard at the moment over what is 10th place. We're riding on board the Tottenham car with Craig Dolby, the man from Melton Mowbray, a real attacking driver. Now let's see if he's got the grip and the tyres that he needs in order to go chasing after AL-AIN, driven by the Argentinian Esteban Guerrieri.
I can tell you from the inboard cameras, especially from the camera on board the Ranger car that we just saw before, they are taking it easy. They know that the track is tricky, going up and going into the hairpin. They're all braking easy, not too hard on the car to make sure they're not going to lock wheels. And you can see Tristan Gomendi is sliding a little bit, and you can see Lyon is just behind him now, struggling to get the grip, struggling to get the tires up to temperature.
Yeah, we're about 3 or 4 seconds, aren't we, off what they were doing in qualifying. Obviously, they got a lot of fuel on board in the early stages of this race, but the track is a little dirty after the rain that's come down, and it's going to take a while for it to be as quick as it was in qualifying. Coming around towards the end of another lap. This is the Jackie X chicane, firing it out of here, and you can see a little bit of oversteer.
Yes, exactly, and you can see Michelin is not pulling away because it's harder for him to learn about the track because he has no one in front of him, so he just has to discover by himself the level of grip. And you can see that's why all the cars are still together. They're all packed together because they're still learning the track and they're taking it a little bit easy.
And threatening from 3rd is Liverpool. You can see the bright red machine from over the rear wing of the leader. You're on board with the leader. You've got the telemetry on the right, just showing you what's going on there as well. And into the pits, is that PSV, I think, coming in?
Yes, yeah, Dominic
so problems
Mermans.
for Dominic Mermans. He crashed in qualifying yesterday. Whether there's been any kind of contact, I'm not sure in this race, but it looks as though he's coming into the pits. It's too early for the obligatory pit stop. They must complete 8 laps before they come into the pits. And Liverpool, we said he was catching, Bruce. He's just set fastest lap.
Yes, indeed. Not a lot quicker, just 1/10 quicker than Midtjylland and a few hundreds quicker than Glasgow Rangers just in front of him. But he's coming back, and we know Adrian Valles. We know how well, how much he pushes and attacks, and he's going to try to make a move in a few laps, learn about Rangers, learn about the Rangers car and where he can make a move, and he's going to try.
So there is PSV into the pits. Disappointing for Dominic Mermans. We're not far from Eindhoven here, just over the Dutch border. There'll be some PSV fans here who'll be disappointed by that. It's all over a bit early in race 1 for them. But up front, it's still Michelin, the Danish football club, leading from Glasgow Rangers in 2nd place. Liverpool in 3rd, and a good lap that time from John Martin in the Rangers car. Rest of the field coming through towards the back. There is the Galatasaray car, and glumly walking away from his machine is Dominic Mermans, trying to explain what's gone wrong, but and Lyon in trouble as well. Nelson Ponciatici going very slowly.
Yes, and he's back into the pits, and I don't know why he was able to apply the power back when he was back into the pits. Not quite sure what is the problem on the car. We can't see anything from there. It's a real shame. But for now, the leaders, Michelin, Glasgow Rangers, Liverpool, Basel, all those 4 cars are really very much together, and they're lapping very similarly in 21.6, and every lap is going quicker and quicker because the track is going quicker and quicker. So now the pace is very, very good at the front.
does this change strategy in terms of when you come into the pits? Because in a lap's time, they're allowed to come in, the pit window will open. But with the track conditions being like this, is it better to stay out there or is it better to come in early?
Well, it's difficult to say. I wouldn't say the track conditions are going to affect that too much. It's more if the guy in front of you, is the car in front of you is in your way, and if you're losing time because of him.
Be interesting to see what Liverpool do in particular. Perhaps they'll stay out there if the others come in. Liverpool sitting in third and potentially maybe able to go a little quicker. Tottenham coming through, then it's Anderlecht, then there's a gap back to FC Porto, the blue and white, then Flamengo, then Olympiacos under pressure from AS Roma, Jonathan Kennard. Two British drivers towards the back of the field there. Both of them have had problems. Kennard had problems in qualifying. The team made a bit of a mistake on the car, and so he qualified down at the back. And Duncan Tappy, as we saw for Galatasaray, he had a problem at the start and had to join in from the pit lane. So those two guys out of luck.
And it's amazing to see the first 8 cars up to AL-AIN, who's actually the quickest just now on track, are really much together. So when the window will be open for the changes, which is apparently the case now with AC Milan.
He's got to wheel. That won't do the rear suspension any good. And I'm not sure if he'd done 8 laps on track. You're meant to do 8 laps on track, and it's each individual car that must cross the line 8 times on track. Yeah, you reckon? Okay,
yeah, I don't know if it counts when he goes into the pits.
Exactly, I'm not sure. That's an interesting one. We'll have to see if there's a call on that. But he obviously went for an early pit stop there for AC Milan to see if they can steal a march from everybody else, maybe put a good set of tyres on and see if that's going to help them. So, first of our pit stops, but we're expecting a few more. Battle going on at the back there between those two British drivers I mentioned. Jonathan Kennard for AS Roma and Duncan Tappy. What have you seen, Bruce?
Liverpool is making a move, and he went through. Liverpool made a move on Glasgow Rangers.
Excellent, well spotted, yeah, just as he went past a competent position. So Liverpool up to second place now. Adrian Valliers, the series leader for Liverpool, as the other pit stops beginning to be made, and Anderlecht coming into the pits now as well. But Liverpool up into second position, chasing after our race leader, Michelin. These two cars are engineered by the same group of people, so it should be pretty evenly matched. But Kasper Andersen is in front, Adrian Valliers now second, Rangers in third, and there, Anderlecht into the pits for their obligatory tyre stop. And away they go. Yep, that looked pretty smooth, avoids the other wheels, and this is how Liverpool got past. Talk us through it.
Just took the tour, had a better exit, and Rangers defended, and he tried to block, but it was too late. Adrian Valliers was already inside. See, he's in the middle of the track trying to move towards the left, but he has to give away, he has to give some room because Adrian was already there. Very well done.
I wonder if he used the boost there. It looked like he had a little bit more straight line speed, and they can use that boost up to 8 times in the race. It can be worth an extra 50 brake horsepower, so maybe that just gave him the edge.
Yes, I'm not quite sure whether he used the boost, which is possible, and Rangers making a pit stop.
Yeah, this is a crucial one from what is third place now. And we're on board with Rangers as he comes in. And John Martin just bringing it into the pit lane. He had an absolute disastrous stop, if you remember, at Manicourt when he was leading the second race, and the car fell off. We'll listen to the radio. As he comes in, he'll be guided in by his crew, no doubt. Maybe a little bit of conversation between them when he comes to a halt. Let's just listen up here. Pretty calm. Oh, problem again on that front jack. Would you believe it? That was what the problem. At least it has stayed under this time.
And he's going for new tyres.
Brand new tyres for John Martin. That could work well. Seems to have got away pretty quickly. I don't think that cost him too much. AS Roma also in. Jonathan Kennard from the back of the field in that battle with Galatasaray.
Very tight, yes. And in that case, this is going to be key, and I'm sure we're going to see some changes in position because all the cars were together within a second between each one of them, and the pit stops are going to make a big difference.
Going to be very interesting. New fastest lap has just been set by, is it AC Milan?
Yes, with new tyres.
So
yes,
indeed. A few cars under investigation, though. Rangers, meanwhile, battling with Anderlecht. Anderlecht made that early stop, if you remember, and it's got him right in the mix, and he's got ahead of AL-AIN. AL-AIN have not been into the... Yes, they have been into the pits, so that was a gain for Anderlecht. And Rangers, these guys have all been into the pits, and that's a good performance by Anderlecht because they have gained him another position.
Yes, they've gained through the pit stop. As I said, it's the pit stop in that case because all the cars are together. The pit stop is key, and Rangers probably lost some place.
So it's the blue, white and red colours of Rangers leading that particular battle, but in now comes Tottenham. Craig Dolby the British driver, on board for the North London club, and it's a new set of tyres, a brand new set of tyres for Dolby as he lights up the rears, smokes his way out of the pit lane. He is so fired up. He loves this Zolder circuit. He's had lots of wins here in the past in Formula Renault, winning the Formula Renault of Belgium Championship a couple of years ago, and he had some great races here last year in Super League Formula as well. He joins in with that group. Is he ahead of Rangers?
Yes.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. Very good pit stop, and you see, it makes a difference when he powered up so fast once the car was down on the track, and he's defending now, and he's going to be able to stay ahead, I hope. Very good job from the crew. Very good job from him.
Very, very good stuff indeed. That's how fired up Dolby is. Remember, Rangers were third before the pit stop started, so Tottenham have really gained out of that, got past their great rivals, if you like. UK clubs might not be fighting against each other in the Premiership every day, but in the European competitions we've seen them come together. They actually had some good battles throughout the races we saw in Manicure as well. And we've got the other two purple cars behind, Anderlecht and AL-AIN. Of course, AL-AIN's livery, their football strip, based on the Anderlecht colours many years ago. So you've got two very similarly coloured cars as they head around in their own private battle.
The boys are up for an awesome ride.
Liverpool currently sitting in second place. It's Michelin race leaders here. Neither of these two have taken their obligatory pit stopper yet, as we're around the half-distance mark, and it's Basel running in third place. Galatasaray, who have not stopped but started right at the back, up to fourth place, and Duncan Tappy will be hoping to get some clean air here and really put in some fast laps. It's an opportunity for him to gain some places, I'm sure. Max Wissel there, the youngest driver in the field, driving well again. Oh, and a spin for AL-AIN. Esteban Guerrieri, new driver. Oh, and he uses too much grunt as he gets going again, nearly spins it back the other way, and he's only just missed by Enrique Bernoldi in the Flamengo car, and he's about to be passed by Jonathan Kennard in the AS Roma machine. It's going to go wheel to wheel into turn one. They're still fighting. Kennard trying to go around the outside, trying not to touch wheels. He's now on the inside for the right-hander at turn two. He should have it. He's through.
Yes. Two cars side by side in the first corner, which is pretty tight. They did a very good job not to bang wheels.
Very good stuff, and Guerrieri trying to come back. And what perhaps you don't get the idea of, Bruce, watching this on TV, maybe a bit from the onboard, this is quite a narrow track, isn't it? So in some places it looks wide, but it's really quite narrow, and to get two cars side by side like that is not easy.
No, it's not easy at all. It is a very narrow track, especially when you go in the old part just there in the forest. There is no space for two cars, and if you manage to go through a corner side by side, which is pretty impossible when you see the size of the chicane, it is very well done from them.
Now let's see what happened to see AL-AIN spin in the first place. He was making a move on Anderlecht, got down the inside, then he runs onto the dirt, onto the gravel, jumps over the curb, round she goes.
Yes, it's a very big car, and when you put the power, if you're not lined up properly with the track, you're gonna spin. And he had some mud on the tires. Back on the throttle, and there you go.
Yeah, well, it was a good try, it was a good attempt, but he just ran out of road, and he's still learning, he's still getting used to the car. First race, remember, for Guerrieri in that AL-AIN car, the United Arab Emirates team, one of the best teams in that part of the world, no doubt about that, in football terms, and doing well in motorsport terms this weekend as well. This unique mix between two great sports. This is the beautiful race at 300 kilometers per hour, and up front at the moment it is FC Michelin leading this one by 1.6 seconds over Liverpool in second, Basel in third, Galatasaray in fourth, Tottenham first off the pit stoppers, running in fifth place, and we are now seeing some pit stops from the leading crew. In fact, Michelin coming in. Good battle going on still here between AS Roma and AL-AIN. Guerrieri trying everything to get back on terms, and he's having a little look where surely you can't go through. He's found a space. Fantastic.
AS Roma gave a little bit of room because it's a really hard place to overtake.
Another new set of tyres on board the Michelin car. That's pretty impressive that they've managed to save new tyres here for Kasper Andersen, but it's a slow start.
Takes too long, takes too long. Oh, yeah,
Basel
no.
gets past. FC Basel are through. He stalled it. He stalled it. That's the problem. They've had to re-engage the starter. Now he's moved off. Oh, it's all gone wrong for the Danish club.
That's too bad. Really, he just lost the race in the pit stop. It was so tight, and you cannot have any mistakes done. It has to be perfect from beginning to start. And now it's over 20 seconds. He's gonna rejoin the track about 10th position or maybe 12th position. Oh, it's over. What a sad coming out.
Oh, he can't believe it. He's just sitting there. He knows how much time's been lost. The race is over in terms of getting a result here. And all he can think about now is race 2 and that reverse grid to salvage something out of it. That means that this car, Liverpool, leads. And in fact, they're under investigation, I noticed. They're one of the teams, one of the clubs under investigation for a breach of Article 38.5. We'll try and work out what that one is. It might have been something to do with the start of the race, but whatever it means, Liverpool currently are up front. Now, whether they get a penalty or not, we're going to have to wait and see. But Adrian Valiers won't be worried about that just now.
No, he's going to think about his race, but and you see Midtjylland just in front of Liverpool now, but he's not leading anymore. He's been lapped. He lost probably 50 seconds in his pit stop, which is a real shame. Plus, he's using a new set of tires, and he's going to lose that advantage he could have changed, kept for the second race, basically.
Well, the regulation that's being quoted is actually about having their wheels fitted when the 3-minute signal is shown. That's at the start of the race, part of the start procedure. You've got to have your wheels on the car with the 3-minute signal is shown, and if they're not fully fitted, then you could be in for a penalty. So this goes right back to the start, the pre-start. He's being called to the pits now. And you can hear from the radio. So this is for his pit stop. This is not for a penalty. This is for his pit stop. So same team as Midtjylland looking after the pit stop here for Liverpool. So, well, they've had a bad experience with Midtjylland. They'll hope that things won't go wrong. Although we didn't quite work out whether it was Kasper's mistake because it was a stalled engine, wasn't it? Yes,
I think it was a bit of a total mistake. I think the tire change didn't go so well. Then the driver got confused and didn't do a clear start, and that's when he stalled the engine. It's
quite a steady entrance to the pits because Adrian Valiers knows he's in a good position here. Now, looks like a used set, is it? Hard to tell there. Tottenham currently will be leading this race, so the battle will be between Liverpool and Tottenham, but I think Liverpool should be in pretty good shape. There is Liverpool going down pit lane. Here comes Tottenham down the main straight, but he's still got to come out that pit lane. It's quite a long pit lane exit. It will be pretty close as they come through out of their first turn. Where's the Liverpool car? Look for it on the left. Tottenham will be in front. Liverpool rejoin in third, in fact, behind Rangers. Well, how about that? Tottenham, that early pit stop, and Craig Dolby's attacking style has kept him in front, and Liverpool rejoin in third position.
Yes, third position. So the strategy worked very well because Liverpool pit stop was quite good, but the early pit stop for Tottenham and Glasgow worked very well.
British football clubs in the top 3. We've got Tottenham now leading, Rangers in second place, Liverpool in third position. You've got a British driver in the lead car, an Australian driver in the second, and a Spanish driver in the third. So a really interesting mix. What's happening in fourth place? Well, Basel running in fourth. In fact, Max Vissel's not far behind Liverpool there. So the youngster going well. Once again, he loves this Zolder circuit. But it's Tottenham leading. He's had 5 victories, this driver, Craig Dolby, in other formula here at Zolder in the past. He loves the place, and he came here with absolutely the intention of winning, not just getting a podium finish, but he was going for victory. Had a disappointing day in the practice sessions on Friday. Wasn't happy with the way the car was set up. They changed it completely overnight. Well, he seems pretty happy now, doesn't he?
Yes, he seems happy, and I'm pretty happy about what he's doing again, because we know how good of a racer he is. As I said yesterday, I'm a Craig Dolby fan, and he's doing the job again. The crew did a very good job in the pit stop, but he's driving very well at the moment, lapping very fast and consistent, as he always does in the races.
On board with Dolby, just briefly, we saw a quick shot back there just a moment ago of AC Milan running 6th, and that early pit stop for Giorgio Pantano, there's been no investigation on that, so it looks as though it was within the rules, and that really helped, because Giorgio Pantano, AC Milan, involved in that early first corner incident. He's now running 6th. Looking at AL-AIN there, now they're running in 8th position, still having quite a good battle. That's with Flamengo just ahead of them. We saw AL-AIN passing the AS Roma car a little while ago, and Esteban Guerrieri, we're on board with him. He's proving to be quite a fighter, isn't he?
Yes, and he's lapping very well as well. I think he's completely new to the series, so he's still learning how to drive the car, how to handle the car when you want to overtake. That's why he made a small mistake, but he's pushing hard, he's lapping well. In front of him he has Flamengo with Enrique Bernoldi, who's also doing a very good race because he started far back in 15th position, and he's now running, 7th.
Yeah, 7th place. So this is the battle for 7th. Useful points here, and guys who perhaps get a couple of 6th places out of the 2 races are going to be right up there in terms of scoring total points for the entire weekend. Remember, they're scoring points in both races here today, and the outright winner will simply be the team that has won the most points in the 2 races added together. And it's very difficult on a reverse grid to come right through to take victory in race 2. So a good consistent finish can be the answer. Still watching Flamengo in the red, white and black colours, the Brazilian club, up against the United Arab Emirates club of AL-AIN, and the 2 of them very close as they come on to this next part of the circuit. The right-hander sweeping onto fairly narrow straight and down to the short chicane, the first chicane. And look how defensive Bernoldi's going here, really taking a tight line, then moving out into the chicane.
Yes, you can't really overtake in that chicane. It's you're going too fast, and then it's too narrow. But you have 2 South American drivers fighting now, so it's great. One Brazilian, one Argentinian driver.
Yeah.
I think the AL-AIN car is a little bit better, even though he's still sliding. Oh no, and Midtjylland.
Oh, well, he's well down already, of course, Midtjylland,
yes.
After that miserable pit stop. He's basically, he's down in 13th place, or was before that spin. And now it's just going, it often happens, of course, when it starts to go wrong, the driver overcompensates. Let's see what happened. Let's find out here.
Run wide. Just spun in turn 3, but I'm a little bit worried of his position just now, because he's stuck. He's not going to be able to reverse the car, and this is the fastest corner of the track. And as we're inboard, turn 3. Missed the apex, back on the power, not quite where the grip is, so he was a little bit too wide, and when he went back on the power, he had oversteer and spun. And as I told you, he's stuck. He had to jump out of the car because it's a very, very dangerous place.
Yeah, that's not good. They may have to bring the safety car into action once again. Let's wait and see. Meanwhile, FC Basel doing a great job. Hit a new lap record for Max Wissel, and he is absolutely flying. He loves this place, and he's putting the series leader, Liverpool, Adrian Valiers, under some serious pressure here, isn't he?
Yes, he is, and he's consistent. He's lapping quicker and quicker as the fuel level goes down in the car, and he's going to put a lot of pressure on Adrian Valiers just now. You can see he's getting very close to him on every braking point.
Yeah, great onboard view there as the Lyon car still being repaired. Of course, they want to get this car sorted for race 2. They will be starting near the front in race 2 as a result of their problems in this one. But race leader across the line, under 12 minutes to go now. It's Tottenham leading with Craig Dolby at the wheel. It's Rangers in 2nd place, John Martin. Liverpool running 3rd. So those British clubs are dominating things at the moment, but it might not end up as a British club's 1, 2, 3, because Swiss club FC Basel there, right in the hunt, and their young German driver is putting Adrian Valiers under all sorts of pressure. They're coming down to the area here where that car is stricken on the inside, the Michelin car. Watch from the onboard camera. You see the car up on the right? Well, they haven't brought the safety car out. They seem to be continuing the racing.
Yes, a dangerous place, but there's still the yellow flags being waved just before the corner. Max Wissel getting closer and closer to Adrian Valiers, but I can tell you Adrian is a very hard driver to overtake. He knows how to defend well. Anyways, he's quite fast still, and only a few tenths difference between the 2 cars. It's going to be very hard to find a place to overtake, and we have a yellow flag at the hairpin as well. Not quite sure which car is off at the minute. Safety car, that's why there's yellow flags waved. It's too dangerous to let the car there. Yeah. You have to bring the safety car out. Good move.
So this is going to close things up, and it could put Tottenham under a bit more pressure from Rangers, because he'd opened up a nice 2.2 second lead, and that has all negated, of course. They all have to slow down behind the safety car. It brings everybody back together again, and we'll have a race on our hands for the final, well, what do you reckon, about 7 or 8 minutes by the time they've got that car out of the way?
Yes, probably 7 or 8 minutes, which will be 6 laps, 5 or 6 laps left of racing.
And Basel also in that mix. Lyon may be trying to rejoin the race, perhaps just to check the car is in good shape for race 2 later on. They're certainly putting him out into the pit lane. There's no panic, of course, because it's just a question of whether they do a few laps at the end of the race to check everything over. And just a quick one for those of you watching who think, well, you can always gain an advantage in this format of racing by pulling out of race 1 early, and then you'd be up front for race 2 on the reverse grid. Oh, no, that doesn't work, I'm afraid, because the scrutineers will have a check on your car.
More view of what's going on than I will. So you just got to get the restart right. Watch your pressures, watch your brake temps, and be ready for the restart. You're doing really well.
So there's the encouragement for John Martin from the team. He is doing well. He's up in 2nd place. Good result in prospect here, but well, things tend to go wrong for John, so let's just keep fingers crossed. He's had so many podium opportunities.
Working on one side, so you will get in balance. But keep it going, you're doing really well.
Now, what was that? Something about an imbalance, but I couldn't quite catch what they were talking about.
Something with the tires probably, but they can't check the tire pressure. Probably a brake temperature imbalance between the two sides. So it's good to have the information when you're inside of the car, so you know what's going to happen, and you can put the car more in the middle of the track in the case the car wants to go one way more than the other when you're braking. But it's good to have your engineers talking to you through what's going on, when the safety car is going to go back.
Tyres was not so good because they were in traffic. Then they did 2 laps where they were 6-7% faster than you, and now the pace is the same.
So the safety car leads them around. We've got 8 minutes to go still, waiting for that car of Michelin's to be moved out of the way. But it's Tottenham leading from Rangers in 2nd, Liverpool in 3rd, Basel in 4th, Anderlecht are running well in 5th. So the local club on for some decent points. AC Milan, after a topsy-turvy race, involved in that first corner accident, if you remember, and spinning around, then putting in an early pit stop. And Giorgio Pantano for AC Milan has done well here, up to 6th place. Flamengo, 7th for Enrique Benaldi. AL-AIN in 8th place for new driver Guerrieri. AS Roma running in 9th, and I think that Jonathan Kennard will be fairly happy about that after the problems they had in qualifying yesterday. He's got a chance of scoring points. Same for Galatasaray after having to start from the back. But of course, we have lost quite a few cars from this race. We lost Atletico Madrid, we lost Corinthians and Sporting Lisbon. And there's John Martin reporting back to the team what's going on. They're just putting the lifting equipment on the car now. So it's taking a little longer than we thought it might to get that car safely out of the way. They're not going to have many laps at the end of this.
No, probably 4 laps then, probably only 4 laps. And as well, John Martin, as we saw, is communicating back to his team to let them know when they're going to be the restart.
So now, relax and concentrate.
There's some nice advice for Max Wissel. Relax and concentrate.
Yes, which is good. It's always good, as I was saying, to have some advice from the team, because they see it from outside. They know how the other cars are like, and it reminds you that what you have to do in the car, just to focus, to breathe a little bit, to look after your temperatures, to your brakes, and make sure you're ready for the restart, basically.
Another view of what happened to Michelin there in that incident. Just a bit too much power. He was a bit wide of the correct line, so not on as much grip as perhaps he expected, and round she came. And although he gave it as much opposite lock as he could, he basically ran out of steering and couldn't get the car pointing in the right direction. Fairly limited lock, of course, on a single-seater racing car. So there was no way he's really going to be able to get out of that.
No, and it's the wrong place, and that's why they had to bring the safety car out. Another lap, probably just one more lap, so there would be four laps.
Such a bitter disappointment for Michelin, though, wasn't it? I mean, he had this race in the bag. Looking at temperatures, no doubt.
Engine temperature, water temperature, basically 108, 109, which means the safety car is lapping a little bit too slowly, and they need some clean air just to let the cooling work a little bit better, and for that the safety car should be running a little bit quicker, basically.
Safety car will be coming in a moment. So we know the safety car's coming in at the end of the lap. There are 5 minutes remaining in this first race of the day in Super League Formula from Zolder in Belgium. And up front at the moment, looking for victory, Tottenham Hotspur, the North London club, leading the race currently from Glasgow Rangers in second. We're watching Lyon rejoin after some problems earlier. Liverpool there in third, Basel in fourth position, then Anderlecht running in fifth, AC Milan in sixth, and then it's Flamengo seventh, AL-AIN in eighth, and then AS Roma in ninth, Galatasaray in 10th. It's the battle of Britain up front, though, between the top three, isn't it? Because Tottenham, Rangers and Liverpool all going to be going for it in the remaining laps here. Safety car in this lap. Remember, the clock ticks away. Once it gets to 0, there will be one more lap. So we really are into the closing stages, but just about enough time to try and mount an attack. And I wonder how Craig Dolby, race leader, is going to deal with this restart.
Well, I wonder how the Glasgow Rangers are going to deal with the aggressiveness from Liverpool, who's already looking at where he's going to be able to pass. So I think Adrian Valles is really looking at trying to make a move. So does Max Wissel in fourth position. So it's going to be very good.
We're all set for the restart then, the last part, hopefully, of this first race of the day. And it's Craig Dolby who leads them for Tottenham. Good restart through that chicane. And that means that Rangers, as you say, will be under pressure from Liverpool for second place as they head down into the first corner. Here goes Liverpool, looking for the move, can't do it. In the background, AC Milan down the inside, trying to get past Anderlecht. Has he done it the wrong way? Almost touching there through the first corner. And AC
he's
Milan,
made it.
Yeah, and Flamengo's followed him.
Yes, very good job from Giorgio Pantano, very experienced. He squeezed him a little bit on the outside and it was still wet, so Anderlecht couldn't go back on the power, and AL-AIN inside as well, finds the way through.
A Yalma Berman for Anderlecht, the local club. He's just lost 3 places on the restart. He'll hate that, and the fans won't be too pleased either. But he's now trying to block anybody else from coming through. That's Galatasaray. In fact, they touched there, didn't they? As they went
yes,
into the chicane.
Duncan Tappy was trying to make a move as well, trying to follow the cars in front of him, but it didn't quite work.
Wow.
And again, side by side, but Anderlecht stays in front. Oh, he lost so many places there. Good job from Giorgio Pantano, who squeezed him, but once he squeezed him, he went into the wet part of the track, and the tires were actually dirty, and that's why he lost so many places.
So real disappointment for Anderlecht there. Galatasaray still on the attack. There's Olympiakos, the red and white colours of the Greek club. Yeah, contact there, didn't
Yeah, Galatasaray went straight into Anderlecht gearbox and pushed him quite hard, and he damaged his front wing.
So that's not going to help Duncan Tappy in the red and yellow machine. British driver for Galatasaray in the Turkish club's colours, and he's got the Greek club of Olympiakos right behind him now as well. Leaders have crossed the line already. It's still Tottenham leading. Great restart by the race leader, Craig Dolby. He's crossed the line with a 1.4 second advantage over the rest. It's still Rangers in second, Liverpool in third, Basel in fourth, but it's now AC Milan up to fifth after that brilliant restart by Giorgio Pantano. And remember, he was right at the back after the first lap when he was involved in that first corner accident. Tottenham lead. There's Rangers second, Liverpool in the red in third, Basel in fourth, AC Milan in the black and red in fifth, then Flamengo, AL-AIN, Anderlecht coming through, then Galatasaray, Olympiakos, and then behind Olympiakos, AS Roma, FC Porto still running. But then, of course, other cars that have gone out of this race, including Midtjylland. Lyon are back in the race, just doing some laps now at the moment to make sure the car's OK. But we lost PSV at the start of the race. We lost Sporting Lisbon as well. Corinthians went out, and so did Atletico de Madrid. And we're going to hope that all those guys are going to be back out later on in race 2. Still a race on for third position here. Basel trying to chase down Liverpool for the final podium spot. And in fact, Basel having a little think about it going into the Jackie Hicks chicane.
Yes, just actually showing Liverpool that he's right behind him, so he can see him in his mirrors basically, and try to deconcentrate him. And you can see Adrian Valles is watching in his mirrors. Max Wissel and Max Wissel is being told 2 more laps, push, you have 2 more laps to try to find a way past Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know if he wanted to hear that right at that moment, because he was trying to line up Liverpool for a potential overtaking opportunity, but he's still right there. Liverpool maybe just a touch wide. Adrian Valles just looking after his tyres, trying to judge how much grip he's got in the closing stages of the race. The fuel load is nice and light, but of course these tyres have done a fair bit of work in this 45-minute race. Clock still ticking away, and they're being caught, I think, a little bit by AC Milan.
Yes, AC Milan doing a fantastic race, because as you just said, he was starting at the back, and as well a very good race from Flamengo, who's just behind AC Milan, who was starting at the back as well. Those two very very experienced driver. Those two ex-Formula 1 drivers are showing that their experience is paying off, and they're catching Basel and Liverpool.
Great mix of drivers in this series. You've got someone like Max Wissel, the 19-year-old for Basel, the youngest driver, but he's up against drivers with, as you say, Formula 1 experience. People like Giorgio Pantano, Enrique Bernoldi, Antonio Pizzonia, who, of course, went out of this race early on. Don't quite know what that was, but a bit of on-board radio there, diving in. And there is the last lap board for race leader Tottenham across the line with a healthy advantage of 2.4. Somebody's got a broken exhaust, although it might have been Leon, in fact, who's lapped down on the leaders anyway. Somebody's sounding a bit sick as they went past us. And Basel still trying to keep that pressure up. But there is the race leader. It is Craig Dolby, the 21-year-old Englishman driving for an English club as well. And what a fantastic mid-part to the race he put in. Great pit stop. No doubt if Michelin hadn't had their problems in the pits, it could have been very close between them. But as it was, Michelin did have a big problem and Tottenham came out in front.
Yes, Tottenham, Craig Dolby made a very, very good job as he was alone on the track after his pit stop. He posted very, very fast, consistent lap time, and that's why after everybody had done their pit stop, he was leading, basically.
It's looking good for Spurs and for Craig Dolby, an exciting young talent. He really is an exciting race driver to watch, and he's dominated the second part of this race, there's no doubt about it. He's coming down to the hairpin up at the top end of the circuit, through the Jochen curve, or as was through here. Now just one straight and one chicane to go, and he's going to have this one wrapped up. He's going to take 50 points for the victory in the first race of the day. Tottenham Hotspur coming out of the final corner, and Craig Dolby's already punching the air. It's victory for Tottenham. Victory goes to Spurs, and it's a good margin. Second place goes to Rangers, and third to Liverpool. It's a British club's 1, 2, 3. And just listen to the delight in the screams from Craig Dolby. Real passion from the youngster. He has delivered on a track that he loves, where he finished second last year in the rain. He has delivered for Tottenham this time. Last year he was driving for Anderlecht, but what a great combination it is. The London club, Craig Dolby.
Drive, Craig. Brilliant, especially during the pit stop. You took great advantage. That's the 1-2 for ADR.
A 1-2.
Congratulate John for me. We did a great job. Wow, our team! Come on!
Wonderful, wonderful stuff there. And as you heard, a 1-2 for ADR. That's Alan Docking Racing. Let's get some reaction from them down in the pits. It must be pretty exciting down there. Warren is with them.
Alan, that was a great drive. What does it mean to the team?
Oh, it was a great drive. Craig did a wonderful job. We supported it. It was good. I was happy for that.
And did you think you could come away with the win in that race?
Well, we're going to be nearby. We had a strategy that was going to work for us. And no, Craig was in the first laps, he was running 6, which was back a little bit. We were hoping he was going to be further up than that. But through the pit stop cycle, it proved to be right.
So it's going to be slightly different in race 2, because obviously you'll be starting further back.
It's much tougher. We can't do a lot from the back. We can do the best we can, but if we can get in the top 10, we'll be doing all right.
Thank you very much, Alan. Back to you guys, Ben.
Thanks, Warren. And, well, that was the moment. Tottenham Hotspur taking victory in Super League Formula here at Zolder as Craig Dolby punched the air in delight. An absolutely superb performance. And for Tottenham, it's their first victory in this series. They had a couple of podium finishes last year when Duncan Tappy was driving the car. But it's victory this time for Spurs. And it's Craig Dolby who has done the job for them. He has delivered. Second place to Rangers and third place to the series leaders Liverpool. So still consistent point scoring going on there by Adrian Valles. Great drive by Max Wissel to fourth place for Basel. But let's just watch these moments here, because for Craig Dolby, this is going to mean so much. Yet to win before today, but he's done it at his favourite circuit. Craig Dolby, the winner. And just look at the emotion.
He needs to save some energy for the next race.
He's loving it. He is soaking this up. And I tell you, this young lad is a very talented driver. He still can't quite believe it. He's patting the car, he's hugging everybody he can find. and just generating so much emotion. He has a real passion for the sport, doesn't he?
Yes, he really is very enthusiastic all the time, and he put this enthusiasm in his driving and in the racing, and that's the result. He wins the race starting fifth or sixth, I think, and produced a great maneuvers, great overtakings, consistency, and now there's the delight.
And I'll tell you what, I was talking to him, Manicourt, the last event. Well, they were great performances all round. Of course, Rangers' John Martin there, getting that second place. Liverpool's Adrian Valles, he's just climbing out of the car. But Craig Dolby was telling me that this Super League formula has given him such an opportunity, and he's determined to make the most of it. He wouldn't really be racing unless it was for Super League formula giving him a chance like this to race for Tottenham. And he's delivered, hasn't he? Look, there he is. There's the man without the crash helmet on, and he's all telling the stories already, and he nearly got away from me, and I saved it. And there we are. He's going to be enjoying this moment. There's John Martin, his effectively a teammate. They're looked after by that same engineering crew who look after the two cars. But a good rivalry, of course, between three British clubs that was decided in favour of Spurs. And we're going to be seeing those guys receiving their trophies down there in just a moment or two. And no doubt we'll be getting a word from them too when he's caught his breath, which I think he's still trying to do at the moment. There's John Martin alongside Adrian Valles, congratulating the two guys, but still a good result that for Liverpool in terms of leading the points.
Yes, for sure. It's important to score points when you're not able to win the race, and that's what he did. Kept it together and scoring lots of points. Very good job from Adrian Valles, who's receiving the trophy just now.
Third place trophy there to Adrian Valles, the second place trophy to John Martin, and it's his first podium in international motorsport because he's been so close on a number of occasions, whether it's been in Formula 3, other international forms of motorsport. But there is Craig Dolby, his first victory in Super League Formula. He's taken Tottenham's first win as well, and he is absolutely over the moon. Let's get down there. Warren can speak to them.
Craig, you look like a very happy man here today.
Oh, I'm over the moon. You know, we've been so close to winning our first Super League race. And here at Zolder, driving a Tottenham car, we've done it. And what a fantastic result that was. You know, I got hit at the start, pushed back a few places, gained them back on the first lap. We had a broken car then. It broke part of the rear floor, which caused me to have not much grip. But we still pulled through. The guys did a fantastic pit stop. Thank you to Alan Docking Racing. And what a result for Tottenham Hotspur. It's unbelievable.
Well, 5 wins at Zolder before you came. This makes it 6. You're going for 7th after this?
We'll put on a good show in race 2, and we'll see. You never know what will happen, but I'll try my best.
Good man. Craig, well done. John Martin, great work out there. 2nd place for you.
Yeah, for sure. It's great for the team. Like, I've got to thank all the boys, like Dave, my engineer. Car was great. All the boys at ADR, and the Rangers car was sweet today. So it's really just a bit of a shame we had a bit of bad luck in that one. Otherwise we could have won. So, but no, it's a great result for congratulate Craig. He drove well, so it's really good.
Thank you very much, John. Adrian, good strong drive there, 3rd place. How are you feeling?
Yeah, well, we should have won of this race because we had the pace. I overtook Rangers. I did a good move, and we were going for the win. And then we didn't get a really good pit stop strategy because my teammate stole the car in the pit stop. So I had to wait one more lap, and then we lost a lot in the pit stop. And also I had later system pressure low, and I couldn't downshift in the corners properly. So.
OK, well, Adrian, never mind. You're still at the top of the table. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you, Warren. And indeed, with that result, Liverpool will maintain the points lead. But there is the result of this first race of the day. Spurs take the victory. Rangers in 2nd, Liverpool in 3rd ahead of Basel, then Milan, AL-AIN, Flamengo, Anderlecht in 8th place, Galatasaray finishing in 9th, and Olympiacos completing the top 10. Behind them, AS Roma, FC Porto, and then those in trouble like Midtjylland, Lyon, Eindhoven, Sporting Lisbon and Corinthians. And what has that done in terms of the points? Well, Liverpool still lead. They're on 119 points, but Tottenham have now come right up there into 2nd place, pushing Anderlecht back down into 3rd. AC Milan have also dropped a place as a result of Spurs' good performance. They're in 4th. Basel is consistent. They're up in 5th place, just 2 points behind Milan. Then we've got AL-AIN, Flamengo, Galatasaray, Olympiacos and Corinthians. Further down, Porto, Midtjylland and Sporting Lisbon. So we've had our first race of the day at Zolder. There's another race coming up later on today with a reverse grid. It should be very exciting.